Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I would like to welcome all of you for this retreat weekend. So today we have our special guest speaker for this retreat, Devamrita Swami Maharaj. Some of you know him already, and for those who do not know Maharaj, I'll give you a brief introduction. Devamrita Maharaj was born in New York, and he had his education in one of the prestigious universities, the Yale University. Yale is known to produce many of the American presidents. It is said upon graduation, usually we do look for jobs, but in Yale, the students are being offered many job opportunities by multinational corporations. After that, he came upon Bhagavad Gita. So he got a copy of Bhagavad Gita commented by Srila Prabhupada, and he went through this Bhagavad Gita. Then he came to the conclusion that this knowledge is superior than what he has learned from this prestigious university. Then upon, it was a transformation in his life. He started practicing and teaching this knowledge. He travels around the world for past 4 decades. He goes to many of the prestigious universities around the world like Yale, Harvard, Stanford, etc. He just had a talk maybe a month back in Stanford. And here in Melbourne, he speaks in Melbourne University, in RMIT. And he is a mentor, is a guide for many students, many professionals, many families. So he's helping in so many different ways. So today it will be really, really interesting to hear from him during this weekend. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for gathering here this weekend to join with us. We want to begin this morning on a journey. That journey is known as your life. Now, right from the start, I should explain to you that there's a major disagreement between the Western concept of the journey of your life and what the timeless wisdom of India teaches. The Western conception that actually is driving the world crazy and making for such a frantic, violent lifestyle, stressed lifestyle. The Western concept is you get one body, one life, one opportunity. And of course, as soon as you open Bhagavad Gita, what does Krishna explain to you? Just like you're changing so many times in this lifetime, infancy to youth, to adulthood, to old age, to death. Similarly, the soul, the Atma, goes from one body to another, one lifetime to another. So these two visions of the journey are at odds with each other. Now you may say, well, what is the proof that I had a previous lifetime? I know it's so popular in India to consider that you had a previous life and you'll have a life in the future. But what is the proof? But consider the logic and obviousness of what Krishna says. And Krishna is the supreme authority. Krishna says you've changed bodies so many times. Why do you think that the change known as death is the end? Or the change known as birth is the beginning? Why not see all these changes as phases that the real you, the spirit soul, is transiting? In other words, we look at this little boy here. What is your name? You don't want to say your name. That's his name. Narottam. So Narottam, he's how old? 2.5 years old. So you would say Narottam has a future, yes? But Narottam's future in that 2.5-year-old body will not be in the same body. What starts off as a 2.5-year-old Narottam body will soon become a teenage body, a young adult body. So all these body changes are going on. That lets you know that something about you remains the same, even though the body is always changing. And as you know, the mind is always changing. So Krishna makes this obvious point in Bhagavad Gita. So where does this nonsense about one body, one life, one opportunity come from? You can see it makes people so stressed. Like your whole existence is compacted, squeezed into a few years in which you've got to succeed. You've got to enjoy. You've got to get fame, achieve, acquire. So much pressure is on you because we don't see the whole picture. Now you may say, you don't remember your previous life. Anyone here remembers the previous life? Is that the proof that there's no previous life just because you don't remember? What happens when you go to sleep tonight? Or what happened when you went to sleep last night? Did you remember? No, you forgot all about the present body you have. If you're married, you might have been laying there with your husband or wife, but when you're asleep, you forget all about that person. They're right there next to you. So, what you remember or don't remember is no proof of anything. Because every night, when you go to sleep, you forget. And you get lost in the dream world. Psychologists will tell you that you're always dreaming at night. Sometimes you remember, sometimes you don't. So you can remember some of your dreams. You're doing amazing things or experiencing horrors. You're with the most beautiful person. Or you're flying through the air. Or you're meeting with some horrible catastrophe, being swallowed by a tiger. Being swallowed by one of the few remaining tigers in India. Or you fall on the tracks at the Delhi Metro news station. All these things go on in your dream world. But what happens when the alarm clock rings in the morning? You forget your dream world. You may remember a little bit of the dream, but it's not as vivid, the memory, you know? It's not as impactful and intense, and it fades very quickly. So this way you can see. A little hot in here? Yes, a little hot. Yes, let's open some windows. So you can see that forgetfulness plays a major role in human life. And you go about that forgetfulness at night when you go to sleep, and in the morning when you wake up. So then why is it such a big deal that you don't remember your previous life? Why do you make that into such a powerful reason for denying or not thinking about your previous lifetimes? Just because you don't remember. How many of you remember being born? Anyone here remember the moment of your birth? But if everyone forgets your birthday, you'll feel horrible, even though you don't remember being born. If they forget your birthday, they forget to celebrate. Has that happened to anyone here? Generally married men have at some point they make the mistake of forgetting the wife's birthday. And they only make that mistake once. all hell breaks loose. And you tell yourself, never again will I forget. But no one remembers being born. You want your birthday remembered. In fact, did you know, one of the most likely circumstances for persons committing suicide is when they're celebrating their birthday alone and they have the feeling that no one remembers their birthday, no one's sending them any birthday greetings. Those are some of the most likely circumstances for committing suicide. But still, you don't remember being born. So what you remember and what you forget is not the proof of anything. We need knowledge that comes from beyond what the human being can remember or forget. So Krishna is giving that. Now, unless we understand who is Krishna, Bhagavad Gita loses all value. Because so many ordinary persons are speaking opinions, it is like this, it is like that. But when we understand who is Krishna, then we can actually take benefit from Bhagavad Gita. So first, let's recognize this problem, the immense problem caused for the individual and for society by this notion that one body is all you get, one lifetime is all you get, one opportunity. That puts so much pressure on you, and then you put the same pressure on your children, right? What are you going to do in this lifetime? You've got a few decades, how are you going to achieve? How will you rise to the top and be CEO? You have a few decades. So much pressure. You have to study. If you can, you study abroad. Then you get the PR. And then you must rise up the corporate ladder. You don't have much time. And while you're battling to rise on the corporate ladder, you must marry. And you must produce 1 or 2 children. And then you teach them to do the same thing. Why? Because it's your duty. Who told you this is your duty? Of course, you love your family. Your family, in most cases, has taken such loving care of you. So you want to do what they say. At the same time, you're wondering, do I have my own life? And now that you've come to Australia, you see, individualism. Everyone's just doing their own thing. They don't worry about family. They don't worry about what the village says. They don't worry about what the clan says. They don't care what caste are they, or what is the caste of those who are their friends. They're free. But then you look at yourself, and, oh, I have inherited so many worries and pressures. Right? I must please this one, I must please that one. Mother says this, father says this, grandmother says that. Then you marry and mother-in-law says something else. So you spend 50% of your energy being a diplomat. Right? How to please everyone takes up such a major portion of your life's energy. So with all respect to our family members, we want to consider the realities. The advanced study to Bhagavad Gita, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, explains that we are just like persons who checked in at a hotel for one night. Maybe you've done that in your travels. You checked in for a hotel for one night. And you might have talked to some persons there, other guests at the hotel. And then, when you check out in the morning, that's it. After you check out in the morning from the hotel, you don't lament, oh, what about the other guests that were staying at the hotel? I won't see them again. No, you expect that you're just there for one night. When you check out, that's it. So we are like that in our journey through this world. We check into the hotel for this lifetime. And we check out. And we establish temporary relationships. Family, friends, society. But we know we're going to check out in the morning. So why would we take those temporary relationships as all in all? Now, certainly we feel indebted for good treatment from others while we're staying at the hotel. But we don't make that into the all in all. So let's consider how we've been programmed since birth. You've been, your hard drive, so to speak, has been formatted a certain way. You've heard through your ears that this is what you must do to be a good person and to be successful. And you've been told that everyone acts in this way. In other words, you've been implanted with a particular story, a particular song. And you dance according to that song. But now you have come to a different land. And you're starting to wonder about the song that you've been given. Is it the only song? Is it the best song? You're in a land where people just do whatever they want to do. They don't worry about what anyone else is thinking. The whole point is how to please your senses now. And it looks so attractive, doesn't it? How to get all you can now. How to live in the moment. Whereas traditional Indian life is all about your duty and the future, denying the gratifications of the now as you sacrifice for the future. So many of you have parents who sacrificed, took out loans so you could come and study here. But while you're studying here, you notice the people here, they have a different vision of life. Let's enjoy now. How do you feel now? Let's feel good now. And you begin to think. They look happier. They look more free and spontaneous. Maybe this is the life that's meant for me. But then you think, no, they've gone too far. They've gone way over the top. But maybe there's a way I could almost be like them without going all that distance. Right? Because you see the possibilities. You eat whatever you want, you drink whatever you want, your social relations are whatever you want at the moment. Everything is justifiable by, do you feel good right now? It looks a little attractive, yes? And then you consider yourself, I'm bottled up. I can't do this, I can't do that. The family wants this, the relatives want that. But after a while, you begin to think, where are those relatives? They're across the ocean. No one can see what I'm doing. Now I can just experiment, that's all. I won't go the full distance, just a little experimentation, cultural experimentation. Being open to other cultures. Being open to other experiences. So in this way, you become what I call, some of you know, a hybrid. You have one foot in one world, the other foot in another world. It's like you're on a lake and you have one foot in one boat, the other foot in the other boat. So it becomes a little challenging. But you can't completely go in one boat or the other. Similarly, many of you can't go back to the traditional ways. But you can't move forward and become completely ossified. So you're trapped in the middle. You still have feelings of responsibility for the traditions, for the relatives. At the same time, you see another world that's opened up to you. Of fun and excitement and instant gratification. So then you begin to wonder, how can I have both? So again, let's consider the stories that have been implanted in us. Since birth. You've been given a story, a song. You're meant to succeed. You're meant to do your duty to succeed. Get the money and share the money with others. Get respect. Be known for accomplishments. Our first lesson today in the journey of your life is recognizing how you have been given a song to dance to and then pushed into action. See, not only did your mother push you out of her womb, but also family and society have pushed you into action. Right? This is what you must do. This is what everyone is doing. This is what a good person does, right? This is what a successful person is doing. And in receiving that programming, the codes, receiving the codes, you take on so many risks. You put yourself in exotic, challenging circumstances. Why? Now certainly the Bhakti knowledge, Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas, recognize that you have to take care of your body, take care of your family. But we have made that into the all in all. We forget the real purpose of care for the family, care for the body. The real purpose is that the family and the body should be used for self-realization, for divya gyan, acquiring divine knowledge. Forgetting that, we just struggle for bodily maintenance and family maintenance as if it's the end in of itself, when actually it's an intermediate goal. So now we take it as normal to be pushed into action. I must achieve, I must acquire, I must accomplish. And so much pressure is on you. You finish school here, and then, you know, if you have to go back to India, it'll take you all your life to pay off the loans. But if you stay in Australia, get a job here, it'll be much easier to pay the loans. But, can you pass the English test? One time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, oh no. Is there a limit? You just keep taking the test until they kick you out of the country. You have to achieve like this. Otherwise your life is ruined. People will know that you're a failure. He went to Australia to study, but he did not achieve anything. He had to come back home to all the big loans. Because the family is thinking, our son, our daughter has gone overseas to study. In 5 years after finishing school, our son or daughter will be CEO. The pressure is on you to achieve like that. Of course, there's so many dangers. There's so many risks. But you have to jump into action, right? You can't just be peaceful. You have to get into it. You have to try. You have to push ahead. And pushing ahead often means swimming with the sharks. And the better you can swim with the sharks, the more you are known as a successful person, right? Let's watch a video clip that dramatizes this taking of the code, the song, and then being pushed into action. You can't hold back. You have to get into the race. This is about a particular kind of goose in the Arctic. And the mother goose and father goose, they produce the children high on top of mountains because it's safe from predators there. But there's no food once the little ones are born. There's no food high up there. It's safe from predators, but there's no food there. The food is all down below in the valley. So after the children are born, the parents, they can fly. They fly down to the bottom in the valley. And then they call to the children, come, come, come. But the children can't fly yet. They have to jump. And the parents are saying, come, come, jump, jump. And you'll see some of the little children are poised at the edge. They're hesitating. They're thinking, oh, I can't fly and I have to jump. And the parents down below are, come, come, come. This is the way life is. Everyone's doing like this. Come on, this is the family tradition. Jump. Some of the children that jump, they don't make it. These particular geese have very padded bodies, so even though they can't fly yet, they're going to jump, and you'll see them bang against the sides of the cliff and roll, and some of them die, some of them are able to rejoin their parents at the bottom. And the ones that rejoin the parents at the bottom have to move with the parents very quickly because now they're at the bottom where there are predators. So the parents are saying, hurry, hurry, we got to get out of here. We got to get going. So in that way, the pressure is on to live and survive. Just like the pressure is on you. Hurry, hurry, you got to get going. It's a dangerous world. You got to get your share. Get going, get going. Let's watch. Can you see yourself? You're told to jump. Be resilient. Be able to take the blows. If you want to succeed, right? Sometimes, as I said, the little baby geese are hesitating. Just like sometimes in life you've hesitated for a moment. What's this all about? Why do I have such pressure? Why do I have such worry, such stress on me? You're in the land of no worries, mate. But you're always worried. Why? But you have to jump. And if you survive the jump, then you have to get moving quickly before predators gobble you up. So much pressure is on you. You have to do the right thing. make the right decisions, make the right choice at every moment. To go to the right school, get the right connections. Apply for the PR in the right way. Marry the right husband or wife. So much pressure's on you. And get the right job. What is the purpose of life? We're not animals simply trying to survive. Human beings have a higher mission. Those geese will never think, what is the self? What is the supreme self? What is Dharma? But the human being can focus on those goals. That doesn't mean you drop your job, drop your family, but you have to know what the purpose of the job, the purpose of the family is. To support a spiritually productive lifestyle. Throughout the world today, we see that people have forgotten what is the real goal of human life. Therefore, there's so much economic and political discontent and confusion. So we want this weekend to be the start of your journey in which you're thinking. Allowing yourself to think this weekend. Explore new dimensions that you didn't have time to think about before because so much pressure is on you. But this weekend there's no pressure. You can allow your human intelligence to soar through the skies of Bhagavad Gita wisdom. Allow yourself to consider what Krishna has said. Allow yourself to think, who is Krishna? Is Krishna just some mythological personality that my grandmother told me about when she would read stories from the Mahabharata? Who is Krishna? So dare to think this week. Dare to question the story, the code that's been implanted in you. And you'll find that this weekend will be such a major game changer, life changer for everyone. So now let me ask you, success. You all want to be successful. What is success? How do you define success? Any brave one to be the first to answer? Usually when I ask questions in the first session, very few answer because everyone... But maybe there are a few brave ones here. What is success? Yes, thank you.
Happy family.
Happy family. A family in which all 5 little geese children made it down. Right? Yes. No casualties. Okay, happy family.
Satisfaction.
Huh?
Satisfaction.
Satisfaction of what?
Of what we are doing.
Of what? Satisfaction? You're getting satisfaction from what you're doing.
Yeah.
And what are you doing?
Like anything we do in our life.
Gives satisfaction. Okay.
Freedom.
Freedom. Freedom from what?
Freedom from everything.
Freedom from everything?
Just to be yourself, you know, you can do whatever you want to do, you can be yourself, you don't have to think what you, like what others are thinking.
Oh, welcome to Australia. You like that, huh? No worries, mate. So you've gotten into it?
Getting there.
Yes, we're so free, but we forgot. We can't control our own mind and senses. So in the name of freedom, we become slaves of our mind and senses. And we become slaves of others' expectations. All right, but still, that's a good answer. Freedom. We heard satisfaction. Now, satisfaction generally means satisfaction of your senses and other senses That's what satisfaction means. Any other definition of success? Yes.
According to me, it is whatever we do in our routine life, like all the worldly things, but we must have the name of God in our mind all the times.
You must, no matter what you do, you must have the name of God in your mind.
Like our mind would be in that direction, like we are intending the God, like we are in the proper hands of the God, whatever we are doing, like we must have this satisfaction in our mind. We are being saved by someone, by a superpower.
That sounds good. Should we know about this superpower?
Yeah, I have felt many times.
Huh?
I have felt many times.
You have? Okay, you have felt. But what about knowledge? If you ask to enter engineering school or medical school and they ask you, what do you know? You say, I have felt it many times. No, they want to know, what knowledge do you have? But it's good that you have that preliminary intuition that one should think of God. But just like here you are in Australia, you don't simply think of Australia, you know about it. At least the parts you've been to. So you must get knowledge of the Supreme. And one theme that we'll develop this weekend, one theme that we'll explore this weekend is that the best source to get knowledge of the Supreme is from the Supreme. That's the advantage of Bhagavad Gita. Which literally means Song of the Supreme Opulent One. It's not an ordinary song sung by an ordinary person. All right, still, success. Any other definition of success?
Success is creating common merit goods.
Common
Merit goods.
Merit. Marriage.
Merit. Whatever we are doing,
Merit.
whatever we are doing, as such, that should create happiness, that it is useful for the society.
Okay.
And if any of your deed can bring a smile on a person's face or can be of some use to somebody, that's the real success, that's the real happiness. And that happiness is success for me.
Well, in Pakistan, many are dreaming that if India is finished, we'll put a smile on our face.
That is why I use the word merit. Merit is merit.
No, that's merit for the Pakis, that's merit. They have very nice short-range nuclear missiles aimed at Delhi, Mumbai, and they can launch them without the USA criticizing them, and they'll be so happy. No more Indians. No more losses in cricket matches. So who defines what is merit?
Soul defines, sir.
The soul.
Soul, if it says it's correct, then it's correct. If it says no, your inner consciousness. If it says no, then it's wrong, sir.
So how do you hear the soul?
From your subconscious mind, it says that whatever it's correct, it's correct. It comes from the direct soul. Whatever it says, it doesn't say.
How do we know we're hearing the soul and not just hearing a mental covering? How do we know?
That is an art. You have to nurture your soul.
Where do you learn this art? What school teaches that art? How to listen to the soul?
That's the soul itself teaches, sir, I suppose.
Where and how? What's the curriculum?
Curriculum is I feel that if we listen to it once, it will next time it potentiates you to take good decisions.
So let's say you're walking in the center of Melbourne and you pass Sizzlers and you consult. Do I want to eat? And then you hear, yes, go in Sizzlers and eat. Is that how it's done?
I suppose sir, it's all our how we tackle our physical consciousness, physical mind, how we can keep it short, and it's a kind of practice. If we start listening to our subconscious mind, it slowly and slowly aggravates, and it means there are two minds in us, physical mind and subconscious mind. If subconscious mind we are listening, it will guide us correctly, I suppose.
Mind always changes. What Bhagavad Gita will teach you is that the soul is always dependent on the Supreme Soul. Just like Arjuna in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, he was depending on his own mind. I shall not fight. But then he took lessons from the Supreme Soul and became enlightened. So as long as we think of our real self, the Atma, the soul, as separate from the Supreme Soul, we're always going to be bewildered. It's like a little child. Where are the little children? They're all gone. Oh, there's one. Are you a little child? How old is he? 5 years old. What's his name? Hare Griva. So if Hare Griva says, I'm just going to listen to me. I don't care for anyone else to listen. I am independent. Will you say it, Hare Griva? So, everyone knows he should be dependent on his father. And if he rejects his father, rebels, 5 years old, what is his future for a 5-year-old who refuses to listen to the father? So similarly, the soul is always dependent on the Supreme Soul. The two are always there together. Otherwise, you can concoct so many things. Ah, I'm listening to my soul. Yes, go to Sizzlers. Because our mind is out of control, we cannot actually hear the real self. Because at the core of the real self is the Supreme Self. Not that we are the Supreme Self. But, as the Upanishads explain, there are two birds on the tree of the body. Kata Upanishad. Dwa Suprana Sayuja Sakaya. Two birds on the tree of the body. One is the finite bird, the other is the infinite bird. The finite bird is eating the fruits of material existence on the tree. The infinite bird is simply watching, observing. That infinite bird, or the super soul, is always trying to give instruction to the eating bird. But the eating bird is lost in its eating of the fruit on the tree. And what's the fruit on the tree? The fruits of happiness, material happiness and material distress. Because the eating bird is so busy gobbling up the fruits of temporary happiness and distress, it ignores the instructions from the super soul. Okay, anyone else? Definition of success. Yes.
I think success for me is when you're able to fulfill all your desires, and when you feel satisfied that yes, I can look after myself.
When you're able to fulfill all your desires. Wow. Is that humanly possible to fulfill all your desires? Huh?
I think desires.
Have you ever seen it happen?
You're satisfied. At the end of the day, you're satisfied. You fulfill all your desires. That's when I think a person is successful. When you really want to do something and you've achieved that, I think that's when a person is successful and he feels satisfied and happy.
How long does the achievement last? And how long does the satisfaction last? Tomorrow we'll be talking about the latest research from happiness science. And it shows you that the satisfaction and happiness from material achievement, of wealth, position, gratification, it doesn't last. And it's always less than what you imagined it was going to be. That's tomorrow. fulfill every one of your desires? Who here has fulfilled every one of their desires and knows someone who has fulfilled every one of their desires? It's impossible. Material desires just go on and on. It's like the more you feed them, the bigger they get. It's like there's a monster that lives outside the village. And the monster demands every month, send me one villager to eat, and I'll be satisfied. So every month the village sacrifices one person so the monster can eat. And the village thinks, now we'll be safe. But no. Soon the monster starts demanding 2 villagers per month, 3 villagers per month. And then one day, I'm going to eat the whole village. That's the way material desire works. And you can see that in the world today. No one is satisfied. Even the wealthiest countries, they're not satisfied. Tomorrow, we will see one video about happiness, which tells you the latest conclusion of social researchers, which is that the average American has the same level of happiness as the, what kind of guys in Calcutta?
Rickshaw.
The guys who walk on and... Not the riding rickshaw-wallahs, but the ones who walk and pulling a load, what are they? Huh? Yes. Yeah. The average American has the same level of happiness as such a laborer in Calcutta. There's some mystery to satisfaction, fulfillment, and happiness. It's not what we think it is. So I know that you all want to consider yourselves as competent persons. Persons are going to be successful, persons are going to achieve, persons are going to make your life in a stable way that it moves forward, and that you'll marry, you'll have children who'll be successful, who'll move forward. It'll work out. There'll be some bumps, but it should work out. So you have a vision in your mind's eye of what success is. But who gave you that vision? And even if you achieve some of the things you want in life, even if there is some success, how long can it last? You've checked into the hotel for only a few nights. Then you're gone. You know the signs in the hotel rooms. Check out time, 10 a.m. Now you have your definitions of success. You have your goals in mind, right? If you don't have a goal, you're considered to be not a real human being, right? You all have goals, right? You have metrics to measure your advancement. And you're living in a global society in which the success fever has covered the world. You can't isolate yourself in some pocket of the world and be immune to the success pressure. It's covering the whole world. So we spoke about your being a hybrid, one foot in both worlds. On the one hand, there are the traditions and customs of India which are rapidly changing. On the other hand, there's the full-on intensity of the Western world, swimming with the sharks, running in the race. And there's the fear that if you lose your place in the race, if you slow down, what will happen? You'll stumble, you'll fall, and the other runners will trample you. Ah, it's horrible, isn't it? You have to keep running fast. Why? Because that's the way life is. So consider yourself to be actually a solitary person, vigorously trying for success. Because you are solitary in that you come into this world alone and you leave alone, right? But after birth and before death, you establish so many alliances in the hotel while you're checked in. When you check out, that's it. So let's consider yourself as a solitary person. Let's strip away all the temporary alliances of family and society. Let's see what you're going to do. How motivated are you? And what is the value of that motivation? I know some of you have wondered, what's the point of all this pressure? Why do I have to act in this way? Who is pushing me? But then you say, oh, but there's no time to think like that. One has to succeed. One has to move ahead. And then have children and teach them the same thing. No time to think. You must succeed. You must push ahead. We should stop this weekend and think about our journey. Think about what's the purpose. Now, certainly, we realize that persons must go to school, they must work, have families. But what's the point of it all? Is it just material success, which is so temporary? Or is there a higher purpose to life? So this weekend's about the journey to the highest purpose of life. Remembering, reclaiming that higher purpose. We don't simply want to be sophisticated animals. We want to achieve the real purpose of human life. God realization, self-realization. So we want to re-examine the ancient wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. And not think, oh, we know everything. We are so advanced these days. Human beings, they are so advanced that they're destroying their own habitat. What animal does that? So consider your definition of success. Who gave it to you? Why do you cling to it? Let's take a look at someone who's very successful, but I think you would question, what kind of success is this? But this person is a super high achiever. You'll see how high an achiever this person is. Lights off, let's see. This is a thought experiment that will shock many of you. But this is the kind of person the world glorifies. Success, yes? A successful life against all odds, yes? Are you impressed? Huh? Who's impressed? Why? Yes. Why?
It's not just the success which was shown here, it's more about the journey which I see.
The journey to where?
The goal which he said. It's more about the journey which I learned from the doubt which he get. The world's best climber, and he was in doubt. So that means that everybody has a learning curve. So that's what I was taking notes as well.
Oh, taking notes. Okay. You appreciated his focus, but did you question, what's the purpose of this?
Always growing, always challenging inside.
For what purpose? What's the destination of the journey? We need more air in here. What's the destination of this journey? What's the purpose?
Give us internal satisfaction that we could do it. that he tried.
Internal satisfaction. Is that really satisfaction though? You heard him say that he did something totally defying, something unprecedented, climbing the moonlight buttress. But he said, that was yesterday. Now, I've got to do something else. Impossible. So what is the purpose for all this? You heard him say he doesn't get any girls. Girls aren't impressed by his rock climbing. The narrator in the movie kept trying to push him. The girls? Where are the girls? He said, sorry, it's just not happening. Yes, someone in the back? Yes?
Yes, I consider this as a true success because this job needs a lot of things like your focus, your presence of mind, and your target, and
all right, focus, presence of mind, target.
Target, and moreover, like that person has overcome his fear.
Overcome his fears.
Yeah, every time, and he don't know that maybe he would die in this act.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but every time he set new goal, and that goal is bigger than the previous one. So that's really, I consider that this is a real success. Because all these things are required to get any kind of success. So this is.
But what is the nature of that success?
To satisfy, he's satisfying his ego. Is it?
Is the ego, is the false ego, as Bhagavad Gita calls it, ever fully satisfied?
No, that's what I'm saying. He's trying to satisfy his.
Yes.
That's what
He's
I'm
trying to satisfy something that's never satisfied.
Yeah.
There'll always be something more, something more. So why would you consider that success? But then, we don't want to just pick on him. Why do we consider anything a success? What's the point of what he's doing? He's risking his life for what? Yes?
In my point of view, there is no comparison in his own way. He just invented his own way, and for each and every step, he is responsible for each and every step.
Yes.
And after that, he just want. He also doesn't know that one whether it's gonna happen or not. He just did his work. That's it.
Just did his what?
His work.
His work.
Whether it
Sounds like ignorance to me.
No, it is not. It is nothing like. I can do my work in a perfect manner with 100% assurance, but it's gonna happen or not. It's depends upon what I did. Like that. According to his point of view, he is not in a position to explain how can he did that one, but he did, and. Even it is very easy to explain how we achieved our success. But when we are in that journey, we can't even know what's going to happen next time.
All right, but still, no matter how you describe it this way or that way, I'm trying to understand the success. Can he do this all his life? No, if he lives a full life. The odds are that at some point he's going to slip, right? He continues. But even if he continues, at some point the body will not allow him to go on anymore. Then he has the fame, right? He has the fame, and he has the feeling that I did it, I'm the best. But is that feeling so substantial and satisfying? How many people in the USA know about the rock climbing stars? Not many. If he goes to India, lands at Delhi airport, excuse me, I'm Alex Hummel. Who will care? Who will know? But in his little world, he's a star. Okay, he's the best. But the ego, The false ego can't get enough respect, can't get enough honor. Even you say he doesn't consider so much the honor, he's just doing it to prove to himself. But what is the self that he's trying to prove to? Is he the body? Is he the mind? Is he something different? So that's the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. This is what Krishna put to Arjuna. You talk about saving the self. You don't want to fight in a battle because of the self. But what is the self? This question Alex should have asked himself before he climbed any wall. Any others? Ladies, any comments? I like it that the ladies are speaking up. Very good. You know, this is Australia, so you can speak up. Anyone? Men? Anyone? Where is the success? I want to know.
But he's achieving something.
Yeah, okay, go on. He's achieving something. Yes, tell us more.
He's getting into his goal where his desires are. He's fulfilling his desires.
He's fulfilling his desires. Aha.
Achieving the goal which he set.
Now I like what you said before, fulfilling his desires. Here we have the new phase for many of you. Instead of doing your duty, it's all about fulfilling your desires. Welcome to the West. Where you have no duty except to fulfill your own desires. It looks so fascinating, doesn't it? You're in a nation where no one worries about duty to this or duty to that. It's just all about the duty to your own senses at the moment. It looks very free, doesn't it? Right? Doesn't it look very free? Free, easy, no worries. No family traditions to worry about, no family responsibilities. No religious traditions, no religious moralities. The only duty is to your senses at the moment. So many of you, if not most of you, will stay in Australia, you'll have family, have children. So what will you explain to your children? When your children say that to you, oh, we just want to fulfill our desires. What are you going to say? What will you tell them? Oh no, this is not the way our family does things. Your grandparents would not approve. You think that's going to make a difference to your children? So, what is this? He's fulfilling his desires. What about those desires? Let's be analytical. Let's analyze the situation. What is the point? I'll tell you what the bottom line is. The bottom line is that a mountain goat is better than him. In the Himalayas, they have mountain goats. So, that might be his next birth. Will that be the ultimate success? To give up the human form of life and take birth as a mountain goat? Mountain goats are already doing what he's doing all their life. Is that the purpose of human life? But you say, oh, but he's fulfilling his desires. Well, let's analyze those desires. Let's critique those desires. Let's not follow blindly. So I can see many of you are falling for the Western mystique. Fulfilling your desires. That's what it's all about. Whereas, what do the Vedas tell you? They tell you that every human being is concerned with two things. Shreyas and preyas. the ultimate good and the temporary good. So your human life is always revolving around those two things. The shreyas and the preyas. Ultimate good and temporary good. A real human being always knows that the ultimate good, the shreyas, is most important and never sacrifice that for anything. But when the human being simply focuses on the preyas, the temporary, immediate good, then that's actually not human life, that's animal life. The animals are much better at focusing on the immediate and the temporary. You heard throughout this documentary how Alex was being praised for his ability to focus, but that is not a human focus. Animals are better at such a focus. The human focus is meant for the shreyas, the ultimate good. That is success. That is intelligence. So this weekend, I told you how we've embarked upon a journey. We're starting off with mundane consciousness, material consciousness. And here you are as a hybrid. One foot in both worlds. You can't totally go back to traditional ways, and you can't totally, at least for now, get into the ways that you found here. So you're trapped. You're rocking back and forth. And not only are you rocking back and forth, but wait till you see how your children have to rock back and forth. So what are you going to tell them? Are you going to give them the ultimate advice that Australian parents will give their children? What's that ultimate advice? Just be happy in your own way, dear. As long as you're happy, your father and I are happy. Just be happy your own way. Follow your dream, whatever it is. We'll support it, whatever it is. Is that what you're going to say? Fulfill your desires. Be successful your way. If you want to skateboard all day, oh, that's fine. Just be happy your way. If you want to drink alcohol at the age of 12, well, your father and I, we did a bit of that also. It's normal. What are you going to tell them? What some of you are saying is just one step removed from that. Fulfill your desires. Follow your inner urgings. Focus. But what is the point of all that? A truly intelligent human being is always analyzing, not blindly following. Not like the chicks we saw at the beginning that jumped. They had to jump because that's what's expected of them. No, the intelligent human being hesitates. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Why is mother calling me to jump? What are the risks? What's the purpose of this? So this weekend is about poising, hesitating on the edge of the cliff, and wait a minute. Why am I jumping? To start thinking like that is the real success of human life. So at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, you find that poising, that hesitating. You find that poison. Arjuna. Oh Krishna, what is happening here? I don't know what's coming over me. Arjuna is having a moment like the climber had when suddenly he lost his armor of mental protection and he was having like a breakdown, breathing fast, and you saw he's on this tiny ledge. And he's thousands of feet high up in the air, and what am I doing? Why am I doing this? So Arjuna goes through that in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He's showing you that a real human being does think and does doubt. So we want this weekend to be incentive, impetus for you to hesitate, pause on the edge of the cliff. You already started climbing. So many of you are on the career path, on the school path. You're already climbing. But we want you to pause, hesitate, and think. And that hesitating, that pausing is a good thing. Yes, we should have done that before we started climbing. That's the one thing I appreciate about this climber. Before he starts climbing, he does do self-introspection. Is this what I really want to do? Can I do this? You saw him laying there at the bottom of the mountain, looking up at the mountain. If he would only apply all those powers of concentration and focus to Shreyas, the ultimate goal of life, that would be glorious. Otherwise, he's getting the same result that the mountain goats are getting. So we can learn something from him, yes. We won't criticize him completely. We can learn about focus, but the focus should be on what is the real goal of human life. Many of you are bringing into this life spiritual credits from a previous life. And therefore, for some of you, it is natural to begin your quest for enlightenment. Just like you saw with Alex. As soon as he was born, he could walk, his mother was saying. He was always climbing. Even as a tiny infant child, he was climbing. You saw him up in the tree as a little boy. So he's obviously bringing this in from a previous life. Similarly, many of you are bringing in spiritual propensities, characteristics from a previous life. But just think how those spiritual urges are being crushed by a stressed out lifestyle, competitive lifestyle, pressurized lifestyle. So these weekends are a golden opportunity to hesitate, analyze, check yourself out. What is real success? What is the success a human being should be achieving? All right, study, yes. Work, yes. Have a family, yes. But what is the point of all that? What is the real purpose? So these questions we'll be discussing this weekend. All right, any last questions?
Sir, my question is, isn't Alex doing his karma as a rock climber? And if he is not getting that energy from the God, will any normal person will be able to do it?
All energy comes from God. Everything comes from Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. Krishna says he's the origin of everything, material and spiritual. But if you misuse what you're getting from Krishna, then you must be penalized. This material nature is coming from Krishna, but if we abuse it, we get penalized. So he is misusing his human form of life. He's misusing his powers of concentration. Therefore, I feel sadness in watching him. But it's true, just looking at his athletic ability in of itself, that comes from, yes, it comes from Krishna. Every ability comes from Krishna. But if you misuse the ability, maybe someone has the ability to focus and make so much money. But if they misuse that talent and use it simply for selfish purposes, that's very bad. But everything depends on how you use the energy which is all coming from the supreme source of energy. Anything else? Yes.
How to realize that ultimate goal of life?
How to realize that ultimate goal of life? You have to have the good fortune to find the right academy, the right professors, the right fellow students. This weekend, your good fortune is beginning. After many births and deaths in so many species of life, so many different places, you have stumbled upon the most golden opportunity to hear genuine knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and learn how to apply it. That is the real success. That kind of success is far beyond anything that the rock climber could achieve. You had that opportunity this weekend. So let us go further on the journey. We'll discuss more this evening. How you can achieve the real goal of human life. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.